Coffee with LeadSMART. My name is Peter Lawton.
And I'm Scott Spiropoulos.
Both your hosts today and co-founders of this company. Scott, one of the biggest questions the girls get in the office all the time. One of the biggest things we see on our evaluations. Can we make it shorter?
We cannot make it shorter. This is a government-regulated 8-hour day. It's jam-packed with information, and the first 45 minutes to hour of that day will be a lengthy discussion on what happens to children that have been overexposed to lead. This is something that Peter happens to be expert on.
So although the law is geared for protecting children, be aware, us workers can get poisoned also. So this is a poison, not a carcinogen. I want to make that distinction so everyone understands that. As I teach this subject to contractors and to various different groups, it is a neurotoxin, which is a very serious poison. Neurotoxin tells you what parts of the body it hits: your central nervous system, your brain, and soft tissue organs. When you are lead poisoned, it's kind of like herpes, Scott. It's a gift for life. It will stay with you forever. It will get your toxicity levels as you work longer and longer in the field will grow and increase, and so will the conditions you live with. I just want to clearly state that again. It is not carcinogen, but it is a serious poison.
Once we've established that much, we look to roll into all of the different work practices that are going to prevent that from happening. But before we do, we have to talk about what your companies have to do before we even get to the job site. Please understand, no matter where you are in the entire country, the company has to be licensed if they wish to be a part of the lead project. When you come to the class, you're getting certified. The company needs to be licensed. Peter, tell me about licenses.
And licensing has different words in different states in the country. Some call it certifications, others licenses. It doesn't matter. It first gives you the right to sign a contract for this type of work. And yes, if you are signing the contract, you are a firm. If you are getting paid by your client and they are not taking payroll taxes out of your check, you are a firm. So please, the questions I get the most at break, I'm a sole proprietor, I work alone. This ain't for me, right? And I just want to strangle them. Where were you the last half hour?
So, companies need licenses, and the workers or the supervisors need to be certified. Both of those are going to be absolute requirements to be compliant on these projects. So, as we travel, or if we travel around New England, what happens about our licenses and our certificates?
Well, your licenses may not work in any other state. They could not. Way too deep of information to discuss right here. Understand you need to know when you do get licensed, what state will this license work. However, certifications,
good in all 50 states. Everybody will honor your certificate. It just becomes your job to know the rules when you travel. Right?
So as the rules differ, understand that some regulated states are tougher than others. It is your responsibility to know the differences, or go to a recertification class in that state to understand that thoroughly. That's up to you.
The rules that you learn will depend upon the state you're in when you take the course. Come to a course in Massachusetts, learn the Massachusetts rules. Go to a course in Rhode Island, learn their rules, etc.
So this topic, we just want to understand the difference of the two and their requirements. We could go on and confuse you a lot more. We do that in class, just to keep you awake.
From there, we probably roll right into lead testing. Lead testing is another one of those topics that we could really spend some time on, but to keep this very simple, when you come to class, you're gonna learn whether or not you should even test.
Sometimes it's more costly to test than just assume and follow the law.
Absolutely, and that's gonna make a lot more sense when you sat with one of us for 8 hours. Now, once you've made that determination if testing is gonna happen or not, then you're gonna learn what the best method will be for you. You're gonna weigh out things like, is the test destructive? Is it quantitative? Is there paperwork involved? How much liability is there?
Liability, holy crap. Batman, get us out of here. Let's go to the next thing.
Let's go to the next one.
Woo!
Lead safe work practices. You actually are going to learn how to do all of the things that you need to do to keep everybody safe, to keep that mess contained to a small area, or maybe not make too much of a mess in the first place. We both know we're former contractors. We learn better with our hands than we do hearing somebody talk about it all day long. Tell me about the hands-on practices during the course.
Well, the regulation itself calls for a certain amount of hours that is specified for doing very detailed skills that have to happen during these types of projects. As a training provider, we basically have a model that we travel a lot. We go through 5 states, and we basically rent hotel rooms, and we go through the conference rooms with windows and doors, and we do the best job we can. However, we firmly believe as contractors that having a real brick and mortar place for those who want a higher level of training is absolutely necessary. Andover is one of those locations that we're sitting in right now, where we have 2 full kitchens behind us that actually people will actually touch windows, actually touch doors, cabinets, floors, and know how to deal with these things when they're done here, opposed to us taping off a window on a wall and pretending it's a real window. So we really do encourage you to take the drive and get to one of our training centers opposed to a hotel conference room. But we understand not all of us can travel with that inconvenience and loss of production. That's why we try to come to you most of the time.
So you'll get hands-on work practices. You'll learn every single task, every single skill that you'll need to be actually proficient in this type of work during the 8-hour day.
The most important part of that day, when you go in and you see your trainer, you want to know who is distributing the baby powder.
The day gets a little messy, right? So dress accordingly.
Guys, I don't care what you do on your Fridays, but it's not the time you come in with all your clothing that is to impress others. Come in work boots, come in dungarees, come in old material you'd go to work with. Ladies and gents, don't come in wearing dresses.
So part of those work practices will include how to clean, how to inspect, and how to perform your own type of clearance test to prove that the spot is no longer contaminated. From there, you're going to roll into paperwork and record keeping. Records that are kept on the job, in the office, how to fill them out, who can fill them out, and how long you have to save them.
It's a very exhausting day. I would tell folks who are going to this, regardless of your social life and if the Bruins are playing tonight, get plenty of rest. You're not used to sitting in a classroom for 8 hours. Because the beautiful part of that, as you're brain dead at the end of the day, doing everything to stay with us, doing everything to stay alert, yes, there's a nice test involved.
But it's our job to get you through the exam.
So that you'll understand all of the phrases. We bring you right through. Our classes unfold like a job does. Rules, preparation, work safe practices, what we have to do to protect our workers, and then record keeping. So that just like a job, you roll that way. You're also given a link to download our entire course manual, and it is laid out that way. That book belongs in your glove box so that you remember staying a paragraph ahead of the job. I think we got it. Take 2,000. Folks, this is Peter.
And this is Scott.
Remember, stay safe. We all go home today.